everyone. How are you this evening? So I decided to do this special, quick, unscheduled live stream. As you know, I've taken a few weeks off for various reasons. Number one is just sheer exhaustion. The longer I spend here and am actually, getting a bit more comfortable, which allows me to rest a little bit more, which makes my body just crave rest. And then things like negative 26 degrees Fahrenheit don't help much with the mix. For the last 7 or 8 days I've been sequestered in up in there is my bedroom. I've been in that little queen bedroom space for literally 6 days, with a few trips out. But when it gets that cold, those of us that have put our skills to the test, especially in weather like this, know that it's not something you mess around with. The other kind of bummer about it is the havoc that it wreaks on electronic gear, i.e., my camera. I need to somehow figure out how to get the money together to get this small, insulating case that I can put around my camera so I can shoot video and photos when it is in the sub-zero temperatures. Just for a little bit more on that, this is the first time I'm sitting down at my desk working in well over a week, because I think the lowest I saw it got was negative 26, and right now it is going negative 16, and they say it's going to warm up a little bit to the teens, but once again, the funny thing is I feel like I am in one of those experiments where they test people for long range deep space flights, and I'm no stranger to loneliness. I'm no stranger to being alone, but this is the first time where I've been alone and had it so that the outdoors isn't just something that is instantly accessible, and where it is truly in order to do what I do, to go outside, to film videos, things like that. Yeah, that's the Photo Runner is one I'm looking at. I got a good bag. I just need it's kind of like a neoprene sleeve, and then I need a lens warmer, because I want to start doing some all-night time lapses of the stars and things like that. But I'll talk more about that when I talk about T3 photography. So here, if you want to go outside, it's like a process. You have to spend 20 minutes gearing up, and then you go out and you do your thing, and you come back in, and for example, here's how cold it is. The other night I went to the store, and one of the things I bought was a gallon jug of water that was not from the cooler but from the shelf, and I brought this in here into my main living space, and I let it sit for about 2 hours before I moved it into my refrigerator, which is my bathroom in the trailer here, because that huddles right around 32. So this thing is literally a solid thing of ice after just a couple hours of sitting. One really cool experiment I'll encourage you to do if you have kids is, if you take a Poland Spring bottle or a water bottle that's vacuum sealed, and you put it in super cold temperatures. You can even put it in your freezer, and let it sit in there overnight, and then take it out, and it'll still appear to be unfrozen, but as soon as you crack that lid and the air hits it, it'll just start from the top and just freeze solid straight down to the bottom. It's a pretty cool thing. I want to get a time lapse of it one of these days. But yeah, talk about years of tests. At this point, I have been tested on every level imaginable, from emotional to physical pain with my chronic Lyme's, and the physical and spiritual pain of being hurt by people I trusted, to a point where I'm literally still living in poverty, not able to have the things I need to do to shine, and having to scrape by every day. It just it's getting old. And I'm getting old. I feel like I'm getting old, and that's not good. I didn't have this gray beard 5 years ago when this whole madness started. I kind of feel like Obama, when he went into office, he looked like he was 16 years old. And then after his 8 years were over, he looked like he was about 70. And I feel like this whole thing has aged me physically, but it has also dramatically aged me and my wisdom and my knowledge and my understanding of things that I thought I knew, things that I thought I could believe in, but later found out I shouldn't have. And now just trying to sweep up all the pieces and put them back together into some amalgam of an organization that is simply trying to fulfill my father's wishes, while being, hit with cannonballs from either sides by either people or things or entities wanting money, and this and all this crap that I should never have had to go through, because people chose greed and their chance at fame when my father took his final walk, as opposed to coming together as a family as he wanted us to do. And you'd logically think that his eldest son, with 27 years of teaching experience and 47 years of practical experience, would be valuable to that movement and to continuing on my father's work in a good way. But apparently not. It would have been nice to have been invited to at least one meeting of anything that had to do with my dad and his passing, but never once was I asked to be a part of anything. And that's got me to the point where my heart is broken into so many pieces that I feel that in order to keep going, I'm going to have to perhaps pursue some legal action, because I can't continue to live like this, this hand-to-mouth living, even though I do have some awesome things coming up. Ever since I've changed my mindset and just tried to be positive no matter what, the doors are starting to opening. And the first one is going to be Christopher Niergens of the School of Self-Reliance down in LA. He's perhaps one of the most prolific publishers on the skills that we teach. He is going to be interviewing me, doing a written interview with me for a magazine where I finally get to tell my side of the story and why I haven't been included in anything to do with my father's legacy, and why I no longer have access to the people, places, and things that I once called home. and not to mention the fact that I lost all that, but so I've also lost the ability to provide my needs to run my business, and it's slowly wearing me down. And I made the choice long ago that at any point I am ready, willing, and able to sacrifice my life for the vision and for the work I do. And now coming up against these forces, people I once called brother or sister or other, who seem to take glib delight in watching me suffer instead of reaching out a hand and saying, hey, let's see what T3 has to say. Maybe he might know a little something, because he's been doing this a long time. But no, everybody is I just don't know where to go with it. But speaking of the School of Self-Reliance, I wanted to show you guys the real quick poster here. Now that I do have a working camera again, now all I need is some normal temperatures to be able to operate it in. I'm going to be reopening the T3 photography section of my website, where it's going to serve as my kind of, sometimes daily, weekly video journal, but it's also going to be a space where I put up limited edition runs of prints of some of my favorite photos, or just some of the weekly photos. And not to shamelessly plug the upcoming free membership section of my website, but in that section there will be a place where you can download thousands of my images to use as high quality backgrounds for your social media. So good news there. But yeah, that's all I got for about now. I am going to be doing a special live stream for the Patreon crew coming up here soon. That's going to be free to anybody, whether you support my Patreon or not. And I'll post notes to that on the front page of my website tonight. And yeah, there's still plenty of time to register for the free session with my work with the School of Self-Reliance. So I will post the link to register for that as well. So until then, y'all, thank you for popping in on this quick pop-in session here. Just wanted to give you my wild thoughts. Peace, love, joy, and purpose beyond self to you all.